Hey, what's going on guys, TurtyWurty here, and welcome back to another Minecraft modding tutorial for version 1.15. In this tutorial, I am going to be going over biomes. So, I'm going to be doing biomes with deferred registries, as that's the better way to do things. So let's get started. So the first thing you're going to want to do is create your BiomeInit package inside your init, BiomeInit class inside your init package. And inside of here you want the registry, the deferred register. Now to make this a bit quicker, I'm going to copy that from BiomeInit new by just copying this line right here. And there we go. Now all you need to do is change block to biome, and we're going to rename this to Biomes and /registry.biomes. Just like that. Make sure you import biome, and there we go. Now you need the registry object, so that is just a public static final registry object, and that is going to take in the biome, not the block, and I'm just going to call this example_biome, and that's going to be equal to Biomes.register. First is the name of the biome, so let's call it example_biome, and the supplier is just like normal, so like that, and then it is a new example biome. Now obviously we haven't created that yet, so we need to go ahead and create this. Now I'm going to create this inside world.gen, actually not world.gen, I'm gonna put this in world.biomes, and I'm gonna call this, what do we call it? Example biome, right? Example biome, yes, example biome. There we go, and this is just going to extend biome, just like that. Now just add the constructor, there we go, and we need to make that public so we can use it in other classes. And now this is where you can add any other methods. So you can do carvers, features, entity spawning, structures. You can build the surfaces. You can say whether snow generates, whether water freezes. You can get the sky color. You can get the river. I'm not sure what that does entirely, but you can do all these different things. There's loads of different things you can do. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add a spawn, and I'm going to do spawn list entry dot, I think you can add it. How do you actually add it? Oh, I think you add it, there was a way you could add it. Add spawn, there you go, and then entity classification dot, I'm gonna add just creature. Spawn list entry is just a new spawn list entry. First is the entity type, so entity type dot, I'm just going to use a vanilla one, but when we create our own entity, we will add those. We'll add that instead. The weight is how many of them there are, or like, yeah, how many of them there are. So the higher the number, the more of them there are. I wouldn't put the number too high, just in case. I think you can open implementation, and it should show you. It should show you where it's used, but it's not showing you where it's used. What's this dot spawns? Let's have a look, and then we can see if it's used in here. Spawns.put. Not sure. Not sure. Where's this used then? In entity. Yeah, I don't know. But you can see the vanilla values if you just look in the vanilla biome classes. I'm just going to add a weight of 20. I think that's quite high. I'm not sure. And the min group count is literally just the minimum that you can find in a group. So I want that to be 2. And I want the maximum to be 10. So there's going to be quite a lot of bees. And you can also do other things in here as well. So, for example, you can do temperature noise. You can change the water color. So that is an int. There was a way you can also set the blocks. Actually, I will cover that in a minute. But there is a method I want to add, and that is add. Well, actually, I don't want to add it as a method, but I want to add. Actually, no. I'll leave those for those tutorials specifically. So now, obviously, if we go in our BiomeInit, we will have it once we import this, because we haven't added the builder. So for that, it is just Biome.Builder. It's a new Biome.Builder, isn't it? So a new Biome.Builder. And then you can do dot, and there's all these different things you can do. So first thing is the depth. I think that's how low it is. But I'm not sure. I'm not going to touch that. Downfall is rain, I believe. No, that's precipitation. Oh no, that's the type of precipitation. So the rain is how much. So if I go precipitation, you can then do rain type dot, and then you got none, rain, and snow. I'm gonna make it snow. And then after that we can do scale. So that's basically how big the biome is. And so that I can find this easily, I'm going to put that to 1.2f, which I believe is pretty big. You can do surface builders, but I will go over that in a second. Temperature. So the higher this value is, the hotter it will be, and the lower it is, the colder it will be. So I'm going to put it as 0.5, which is slightly hot. I think 0 is just normal. You can do watercolor and the water fog color. So to do these, I am going to go to a site. I'm going to bring this over, and I believe the site is decimal color. There it is. Maths is fun. This will be linked in the description. If you just come to here, you can decide on the color that you want. I'm going to have it as this pink color right here. So just copy that in, paste that, there you go. And then let's do the water fog color as well. So you basically want that to be slightly more grey-ish. But you want it to be like a light grey. But also still pink. So it's slightly tricky to do. Yeah, maybe a bit lower than that then. That might work. Yeah, I think that might work. Okay, so now that you have done that, I'm going to be covering the surface builder. So let's just go on to the end of this. So this is going to be kind of long, but we're going to want surface builder. No, I came too many brackets out. Surface builder. The first thing is just going to be surface builder dot default, because I want it to just be the default. But obviously you can do all these different particular surface builders, or there is ways to create your own. but I'm just going to use default. And then the next thing is a new surface builder config, because you want to config config this. And in here it takes 3 states. So hold up, let's just figure out why this is being so dodgy. And can we not format that? Why? Oh, that's why. There we go. That's a bit nicer. So this takes in 3 block states. So the first one is the top block, so basically the main block of the biome. And I'm just going to use BiomeInit new because I want to use deferred registries for everything now. .def block. Actually, yeah. No. Let's just use BiomeInit. Let's use our example block and then .get default state for the top block, and then for the middle block we will use our BiomeInit new, and we will use def block .get default state, and then so this is basically the block under the top block. So this would be, for example, the grass, and this would be the dirt. And then this block right here is the one you find underwater in your biome. So for that I'm going to use a block, actually let's use a vanilla block for this one. So that is just going to be like blocks, and let's do acacia planks .get default state, just like that. And let's just format that. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is the category. So that's basically what biomes it will try to spawn it next to. So in order to do that, let's just make sure we're out of the right brackets. Yep, that one is right. As you can see, it links to that there. We can do .category. Nope, that's not right. .category, there you go. And that is just category dot. And as you can see, there's loads of different options. I'm going to spawn it next to plains to make it a bit more common, as obviously plains are a common biome. Okay, so the next two I did explain slightly wrong. I had to look this up. But the next one is the depth and the downfall. So from what I understood, the downfall was... Actually, no, I got the downfall right. So if we do downfall, this is basically how often it rains. I'm going to make it 0.5 or snows, depending on what you set the precipitation to. But I'm going to put 0.5, so it's half and half, and it will snow half the time, and it will be fine. Not half of the time. Yeah, I don't know. And then next is the depth. So I explained the depth slightly wrong, but it's basically how low down or high up your biome is. So the default value for depth is 0.125. So I'm going to set this slightly lower, but you've got to be careful with this value, as any change can really adjust how high up or low down your biome is. But I'm going to do .depth, and I'm going to put 0.12f, and you will see how much of a difference that will make. One thing I would just like to mention with the watercolors right here is I use decimals. Now, if you weren't familiar with this, decimals is a very rarely used color scheme. And more commonly people use hexadecimal, but as you can see, this takes in an int, and a lot of people think the only thing you can put is decimal numbers. Now this is actually wrong. If you didn't know, you can put 0x and then the hexadecimal value, so for example FF, and that would work. As you can see, if I put that in here, that would work perfectly fine. So you can have hex if you want. I know a lot of people do prefer hex, and a lot of people get angry when I use decimal. I just use decimal because that's kind of what Minecraft uses, so I just thought, why not just use decimal? It takes just as long to search up what color it is, so you know. Okay, so now that we have done that, there is one last little thing we need to add here, and that is the parent. So for example, basically a parent is what biome its parent is, pretty much. So I think the best example of this would be the bamboo forest. The parent of the bamboo forest is the jungle biome. So if you want it to be by itself and not really have a parent biome, you can just parent off of null, and that will work absolutely fine. Okay, so now that we have done that, I just want to go back into the biome class. So let's go back into our example biome, and I'm going to show you a few things. So what we're going to do here is just go into what can we do? Because as you can see, if I do add, there is a few things we can add. So we can add the carver, feature, spawn, which is the spawn, structures, and I think there was something else. Is there something else? No, that's all you can add. So basically the carver is for caves, the feature is for things like grass, trees, flowers, and that stuff. Spawn is entities, structure is structure. I think you can add lakes as well, or at least I thought you could add lakes, but maybe you can't. So yeah, and the way we can find basically how to do this is by going into the vanilla class called default biome features. Oh, I put default twice. Now to go into this class, you just hold Control and click on it, and if you go down a bit, you should find the method. Yes, here you go. So you have the carvers, you have the ocean carvers, the structures, the lakes, desert lakes, monster rooms, stone variants, ores, extra gold, extra emerald ore, infested stone, all these different methods. There's hundreds and hundreds of them. So yeah, and a lot of them actually aren't mapped yet. So if you look here, like these ones aren't mapped, but these are just mega spruce trees, and this is also mega spruce trees. Oh, it's different config. But yeah, there's all these different methods. So let's go ahead and add some. So let's go up to the top because that's where the most common ones are. Let's go and add let's add a carver, shall we? So obviously if you want, you can create your own carvers and ocean carvers, structures, lakes, all these different things, and to do that you just need to basically look into world carvers. So if you go into here, you can basically learn how to register a new world carver. It's slightly complicated. There's a lot of maths to it, but if you know what you're doing, you can probably do it. So let's just go back into our biome, and let's go ahead and add the default cave carver. So to do that, we're just going to add carver. Now the carving stage, or it's new carving stage, isn't it? Ah, no, that's it. So it's generation stage.carving.air, and there's also liquid, as you can see right there. So let's just put that in. Is there anything else? Let's have a look. No, it's just air and liquid. I'm not entirely sure what that does. I'm not really an expert with biomes. I've only created one biome in 1.15, and that was for the community mod, and that was basically just a copy of that. And as you can see, we got the worldcarver.cave by doing biome.createCarver, and it takes in first the world carver and the probability config. So this value right here is super sensitive. That's why, as you can see, they put quite a long decimal because it's really quite sensitive. And I'm actually going to add another carver for ravines as well. So generation stage, dot carving, and let's do air again, and then biome.createCarver, world carver dot, and as you can see, there's canyons, caves, hell caves, underwater canyons, and caves. I kind of want to see what happens if I put a hell cave. Should we put a hell cave? Let's try a hell cave. Let's see what that does. Then the config is just a new probability config. So new probability config, and the float. Let's just look at the probability for ravines. So as you can see, that's 0.02. So I'll just put that in there to be safe. You kind of want to always stick with safe values rather than unsafe values. And now let's add a feature. So you can basically use all of these. Let's have a look at one we can do. So let's add fossils. So let's copy this. We're going to add a fossil. It's pretty nice. So let's see, feature.fossil.with configuration, placement. So let's have, should we have a high chance? Because obviously fossils are normally relatively rare. Let's put 128 for that value. Oh, I think I accidentally removed a bracket. Yes, I did. And what other feature shall we add? So we can also add trees, of course. If we just find some trees in here. Add oak tree flowers. What's that? Not sure. Let's add huge mushrooms, shall we? So let's add all of the huge mushrooms. Why not? Why not? Let's go all out with this. We just got to remove the biome in because obviously it's our own biome. And obviously you can do all other things that you want. You do need to make sure you actually change this to the right one though. So that's going to just be default. I think it's public anyways. Default biome features. Oh. Default biome features. Please say it's public. It is. Okay, that's good. If it wasn't, that'd be a bit of a pain because we would have to actually add it ourselves. But let's just go along. Yeah, just change that to what it actually is. We can fix that up. And obviously you can go ahead and add all your different features. But that's all I'm going to add for the features and stuff like that. Okay, now there is just one last thing I would like to change. And one last thing I would like to show you. So first I'm going to actually change these all to this dot. I just prefer to do that. I don't know why, but I think it just looks a bit better. And it allows you to understand it a bit better. And I would like to also mention that you can do default biome features, and you can call one of those methods in here like that. Now, for just so you know, for example, something like the mushrooms and the trees might not work, And the reason I say they might not work is because our ground block isn't grass or dirt. Basically, you can't plant things on it. So they might not work. I'm not too sure and don't know how vanilla handles that. But we will see. But obviously you can do default biome features.add, and there's all these different things you can add directly from the default biome features. So let's add, what should we add just as an example here? Let's just add the ores, so we have those as well. And let's also add the extra gold. Default biome features.add extra gold of this, and just because why not, let's add the emerald as well of this. And we're using this because that's the biome that you want to add it to. Finally, actually, we need to set the registry name of the biome. So to do that, it's just this .set registry name. Actually, we don't need to do that because the deferred registry does that for us. Because as you can see, if we go into our BiomeInit, right here, this is the registry name. Because if you look here, string name. If you look here, the new entry's name, it will automatically have the mod ID prefixed, and it knows the mod ID because of this right there. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is create two methods in here. So these two methods are pretty much the same as how we did biomes in 1.12, if you haven't done that, but I'm going to write them out anyways because I know a lot of you haven't come from 1.12. So the first method is going to be a public static void, and that is going to be called registerBiome. That is first going to take in the biome, and we're going to call that biome. And then next is the type. Now we do a type ... not like that, but a type ... so that we can have multiple types. And you need to make sure you import the correct type, so that is the one from, not that one. Yeah, you've got to make sure you import the correct type. It's the one from the Biome dictionary. So let's just go down, see if we can find it. You need to make sure that you have the right one, otherwise this won't work. There's a lot of types, as you can see. There you go, net.minecraft/common.biome dictionary. You need to make sure you import that one. And in here, we can just do the biome dictionary .add types, biome and types, and then BiomeManager.addSpawnBiome. Now this is basically how you add it to the overworld, or the overworld. Now we need a method which actually calls this method, and that method we are going to make a public static void so that we can call it from other classes, and we're going to call that registerBiomes. Okay, and in here we can just call the registerBiome. Actually, we can make this registerBiome method private so that it can't be used from other classes. Actually, it's probably better to make it, private. registerBiome, the first one is the biome, of course, so that is example biome.get, and then the types is the different types that you want. So we can do type dot, and there's basically all these different types. So because mine's planes, I'm going to choose type.planes, and then you can choose all these different things. This will basically determine how it spawns, but I'm also going to do quite a few different things we could do. Maybe sparse. I'm just going to choose overworld. I don't want to go too complex, but obviously you can add basically as many as you want. but I'm not going to add any more. Now the final thing we need to do is go into our main class and call these. So just going here, and after we have registered our tile entities, we can do BiomeInit.Biomes.Register, and we're going to pass in the bus. And then we need a new subscribe event in this class. So you need to make sure you have this mod.EventBusSubscriber at the top of your main class, and then we can just add a new subscribe event, just like that, and make that a public static void on registerBiomes. That is going to take in a final registry event dot register, and that's going to be the biome event, just like that. And in here we're basically just going to call BiomeInit.RegisterBiomes, just like that. So that will be called when all the biomes are registered, but this should be called before this is anyways. So that is actually pretty much it. So I'm now going to close all of these, fix this up, and I'm now going to load into the game. Make sure you have generated a new world, obviously, because otherwise you won't be able to find your biome unless you go to ungenerated chunks. So yeah, I will see you guys in the game. Okay, so guys, I am now in my biome. Now, to find this biome, I did have to create a buffet world. I spent quite a while looking for it otherwise, and I couldn't find it. But as you can see, there are bees. There's my block as the top block, and then it's the def block, and then just stone, of course. Yeah, for some reason, well, not for some reason, as I thought the mushrooms and trees and stuff didn't spawn because it's not dirt or grass. As you can see, there's some interesting landforms. I don't actually know why it's quite so spiky and all that. I wasn't entirely sure. But as you can see, there's a lot of gold at Y64, so yeah. I don't know why it's so noisy. I think that is because of the depth that I set, because I set 0.125, no, 0.2 instead of 0.125 or 0, something like that. I think I set 0.12, yeah. So yeah, and as you can see, the water is nice and pink, and the fog, when I go into it, you should see is that sort of colour. We got the acacia planks at the bottom. It honestly doesn't look bad. I think if we fixed these missing textures, I think it could look pretty good. Personally, I quite like generation like this because it forms some really cool landforms. But if I just go in spectator mode by F3 and N, if you weren't aware, we should be able to see caves. Yep, there is caves. I wonder if Nether caves actually worked. They probably didn't actually work because it's not in the Nether. But it was worth a shot, right? And fossils should be here. But honestly, the chances that we're going to find one, because they're still pretty rare, is pretty slim. Just check around for a few more seconds. Look at this cave, that's pretty cool. It's a pretty interesting cave. And there should be emeralds here as well. But testing that isn't... Oh yeah, there you go, emeralds. Just as I said that. Yeah, there should be fossils here too, but I can't bother to spend hours looking around for that. So yeah, I hope you guys did enjoy this tutorial. I am actually going to show you the next, or at least the video order. So here is the video order. So obviously this is the biomes. The next video is containers. So basically by containers I mean like barrels, basically blocks that have an inventory, and GUIs is basically going to be with that video as well. And then I'll do advancements, config, dimensions, fluid, world types, and etc, etc. You can see all the way down to core mods and guns, which is very interesting. It may not stick to exactly this schedule, it might change a bit, but I think the overall is going to be this is roughly the schedule. Some of these videos I should get through very quickly, like doors, slabs, crops, passive entities, world types, dimensions, config, fluids, advancements. They'll all be very quick tutorials. I'm probably going to record a lot of them today and tomorrow, and I will gradually post them. I'll probably do a lot of recording at weekends and post during the week and other weekends and whatnot. I'm hoping to get at least 2 tutorials out a week, every week. That's my hopes. But I know when it is my exams, when it's those weeks, I probably won't have any out for the weeks of my exams. I don't know. We'll see when it comes closer to the time. How I can manage the time I have. So yeah, I do hope you guys did enjoy this tutorial. It's very exciting. We will have a dimension for this soon and a world type as well, but I think this looks pretty cool nevertheless. So yeah, if you did enjoy this tutorial, please do be sure to smash your face into that like button and subscribe. If you really enjoyed, please do be sure to share it. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.